Jonathan Miller has travelled the length of Gaza. He began in Rafah, where tunnels are being built again between the border town and Egypt. From there he headed to Al-Najjar, where he was on the former Israeli settlement of Nel Sarim. He later stopped at Juha and Dik before ending his journey at Zaytun.
That watchtower is 200 yards away in Egypt. This side of the border was Israel's target number one. Its F-16s hit Rafah hard. This boy is standing in a massive crater. Israel's prime military objective: destroy the tunnels through which Hamas imports its Qassam rockets. There are reckoned to be 2,000 tunnels, and bombs did wreck a lot of them. But the very day the Israelis announced their full withdrawal from the Gaza Strip, Rafah's tunnellers got back to work.
Well, the tunnel repair teams are in action and the structural engineers have moved in. They're trying to get things up and running again here in Rafah. Just in behind the green sheeting over there, there's a tunnel which has been completely obliterated by the bombing, and there's buildings all over this area which have been very, very heavily hit by the bombs. But despite this, there are still tunnels here completely unscathed, including this one, which is up and running.
It's not just guns and rockets that come through here. These tunnels are a lifeline for Gaza's 1.5 million people. Through them come sheep and goats and fruit and veg, generators, fridges, motorbikes and diesel. Last year, they even stocked Rafah Zoo by pulling through an anaesthetised crocodile, 3 lion cubs and monkeys.
God willing, we will not give Israel a chance to destroy the tunnels or to destroy us. We are forced to use them to bring food because of the siege of Gaza. You have no idea how dangerous it is. Every day we face death, but each one of us is working to feed our families.
Still close to the frontier, but 100 yards back down the street, people's homes did not escape Israel's overwhelming firepower. I found a group of children sitting on the front steps of the family home.
When we came back, everything was gone. We were all crying. We didn't have time to move anything out of the house. Everything is gone, even my school bag.
We left Rafah and headed northeast along the rubble and debris-strewn roads towards an area called Gaza. Here, the Gaza Strip is at its widest, but that's just 8 miles wide. This was one of Israel's main land invasion routes.
This is about as far east as you can get in the Gaza Strip, and if you look down there just beyond the trees, that is Israel. And in the very far distance you can see some movement of military vehicles, and there's an aircraft over there too. And when the Israelis invaded the Gaza Strip, they came straight in here, and these are the tank tracks. When they arrived here, they got first to a village called Al-Najjar. This is it, and this is what they did.
More than 20 people died here, including a woman, locals told me, shot dead while waving a white flag. In total, 85 houses were completely demolished in this area. Jihad Ahmed al-Najjar told me each building housed at least 3 large families. He started listing those now homeless.
Ibrahim Salman al-Najjar, Hassan Abdul Aziz al-Najjar.
The list went on and on and on. Travelling north again, a roadside Palestinian cemetery, where Israeli tanks had parked up. They'd driven over graves. Some families have had to reinter their dead. By now we were halfway up the 25-mile-long finger of semi-arid land that is the Gaza Strip. It's a jumble of cities, villages and refugee camps, an overcrowded coastal enclave that's little more than a fenced-in Palestinian ghetto.
This is the home of the Abu Zahar family in Netzarim. In 2004, the Israeli army came and demolished their home, so they built a new one. And then, at 1 o'clock in the morning, on the 6th of January this year, the Israeli army came and visited them again. Come and have a look inside.
There was virtually nothing left to salvage. 10 people lived in here, including a disabled boy, one of whose wheelchairs was wrecked. He too had been forced to flee in the middle of the night.
When we leave my house and go at night in the cold,
1 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, yes. I took my baby, Muhammad and Khalid and Sarah and my husband, and the tanks was here. And we leave the house and walk. There
Where
no
did you
car.
go?
When we go out the house, we don't know where we go. We walk in the dark, and they shot. There was shooting and bombing, and at night my kids was crying, and I am crying. Why did they destroy this house? This is my house. Like they have houses, we have houses. Why? And if we don't go out the house, I think they destroy of me and of my children.
Tahani told us of a village on a nearby hill and said we should go there. It's called Joharadik, or it was. Until this morning, Israeli tanks parked on a nearby ridge made it impossible to get here. What we found was breathtaking. A village wiped off the map. One man later said to me, the people who did this never want peace. 4 people died here, all women, shot. Having bulldozed the place, the Israelis destroyed the village water tower. The only houses left standing were those the occupying troops had camped in, or positioned snipers in.
Our camera cannot hope to convey the enormity of the destruction here in Joharadik. I've covered earthquakes, hurricanes and the tsunami, and what has happened here is as bad or worse than anything I've seen in any of those. And this was done by Israeli bulldozers.
If you can take it, there's worse to come. Zaytun, a few miles north, also flattened by Israeli bulldozers. But in this house, they'd herded 100 members of the Samuni clan. And then they shelled it, killing 49 of them. The mass funeral wake is in its final day. In the house they'd occupied, Israeli soldiers left some writing on the wall. Gaza, here we are, one read. You can run, but you can't hide. Make war, not peace. Arabs need to die. Israel's main military objective in what they called the war in Gaza was ending rocket smuggling and re-establishing deterrence. What we witness today represents just a fraction of what's been meted out to the Palestinians of Gaza. This was a hopelessly lopsided war of violent subjugation. The intention was to make Israel more secure, but in Gaza, where half the population's under 15, this war has stoked even greater hatred in yet another generation. Jonathan Miller, Channel 4 News, Gaza.